It just, it seems to be all of a sudden just going really quickly. But I didn't introduce myself, did I today? My name's Sarah Saleh. If you guys don't know me, I am a business strategist. And today I'm going to be speaking to you about conversations to grow your business. Now, if you guys are business owners and you're listening to this because you're kind of in a place where you're thinking, I want more clients, or you're a business owner and or you have not a business owner and you're thinking about starting a business and you're thinking, how do I get clients? So a lot of people, when they start their business, they start up, you get the amazing branding, the amazing website. It looks great. You've spent a lot of money on it. You get the flyers made. You put some posts out. You get your flyers done. You start getting your business cards made and all that kind of thing. And you get crickets. Now, that's quite common for new businesses, and especially new businesses that are online, because it's a lot more difficult to convert customers. But, you know, we all want to sell stuff, right? That's exactly why we're doing it. Like, we know what our purposes are. Yeah, when I say purpose, we know what our mission is. We know what our purpose is for our business. We know what we want to do and why we're getting out there. If you don't, guys, we can cover that in a different session, but we kind of know why we're doing our business. But we all want to sell more stuff. Everybody wants to sell more stuff. Even Jeff Bezos, who is a multi-billionaire, wants to sell more stuff. So what you do now in your business will have an impact in 6 months' time. So what is needed right now are conversations. You need to start having conversations about your business to the right people in the right way, using the most of, you know, you're going to be busy, using the most effective use of your time. And because the person you meet today, or the person that you speak to today, or that client that comes into your shop that you speak to, or that person that messages you online, or that person that you meet and you mention about your business, if you speak to them today and you maybe speak to them a couple more times, it may be in a few months' time that they can refer you, or they remember you, or they want to come back for your business. But normally the conversations and the thing, it's like planting little seeds. Everything we're doing, all these business activities we're doing right now, it's like planting little seedlings, and we need to water it. And what we need to nurture it to make them grow, to help them grow, so they're growing massively and green and abundantly. That's how we want our business to grow, right? But seeds, when we plant them, they don't grow straight away. They take time. You need to care for them. You need to, like I said, you need to water them. You need to nurture them. So this is why having conversations for your business is really, really important, because if you don't tell anybody about your business, then they're not going to know. Now, I know there are a lot of people that kind of think, oh, hang on a sec, this isn't for me. You know, oh, I've got a brand, or I've got a Facebook page or an Instagram page, or I've got a shop. But you do need to talk about your business unless you've got a really big ad budget and a completely and utterly proven offer, because we don't all get it right first time. Then I guarantee you're going to have to start talking about your business as you, as your personal brand. So even, like I said, even if you're a shopkeeper down the road, people are going to know the shop because of you. They're going to buy for it because of you. If, like, for example, I live in Wolverhampton, near my house, there is a row of shops, and there's one, two, I think three, four, five fruit and veg places within about a 15-20 minute walk of each other. Now, obviously, there's one next to me, which is closer, but I go to one that's a little bit further because there's more in the shop, and I like the shop and I like the owner. They're very honest. They're very friendly. So I go to that shop. That's because they've had conversations with me. They've spoke about their business. They've spoke about other businesses that they've got. They've given me flyers and discounts at other businesses they've got. So they started creating those conversations. This is what I mean by just in the core sense of it, of having conversations with people. Are there people that have shown an interest in your services before and haven't really bought off you if you may have an email address list, or it may be a customer that's come in and got a quote, or it may be a customer that has messaged you on Facebook or Instagram to ask what your prices are, you know, have you got this color dress in pink, or how much are your services, or, you know, if you're a window cleaner, it's what, you know, that kind of thing. So go back through all your messages and all the people that have given you've got quotes off, this kind of thing, and go and contact those people and just have a follow-up conversation. Now, this isn't cold direct messaging, because they are what we class as warm customers, even hot customers, because they have previously contacted you about their services. So they must have been interested at some point. Why they decided not to buy, we don't know. That's a completely different conversation. But what I want you to do is go and direct message those people and basically just say, hi, assalamu alaikum, or hi, how are you doing? Just catch up. Did you did you have a look at the quote, or it depends on how long it's been. Just wanted some feedback to wondering why you didn't take us up on our quote. If they say it's price, or they say, you know, what it is, you can start conversations from there. So that's a very simple thing, because you've potentially got a list of customers already waiting there to be sold to. So, you know, I know sometimes people haven't got a lot of time and you haven't always got time to go through your messages, but if you want more clients, then this is what you've got to do. Another really, really good thing for having conversations with people is networking events. Now, networking events for me have been absolutely impactful on my business. Now, I don't mean networking events in the sense of the traditional networking events where a lot of, you know, you pay quite a high ticket price and you'll attend an event and it'll be a breakfast event, or it's very, very corporate. It's very male led. Sorry, guys. And, you know, you go in and you kind of pitch yourself. You have your 3-minute pitch and it's all very pressurized, and it can be actually very nervous and daunting to go in there and talk about your business like that. And then you kind of swap services and you speak to each other. So that is a traditional networking event. But since COVID, things have gone online. Things have changed. People are doing the networking events online in their pajamas these days, you know, guys. And also, there are a lot of networking events that are popping up that are actually more women friendly. So, for example, I have been hosting networking events online for women, Muslim women in business. I actually welcome non-Muslims as well. We do have some non-Muslims that attend for around 2 years. And yeah, so I've been doing them for around 2 years. And every month I have a global reach. So I have people from Morocco, Turkey, Africa, Canada. And if you're a service-based business, or you're a business that ships globally, this can be amazing for you. Like, these are literally people that you would have never even been able to speak to before. So obviously I do more one-to-one services than a lot of my clients do, or a lot of people that attend do. But there have been collaborations. People have got really, really high ticket clients from coming to my networking events. And there's also events where Mums in Business, for example. Mums in Business are an amazing organization. They do have a meeting locally. If you need the details, just come and find me on Facebook and get that for you. And it's women only, kid friendly networking. So you sisters out there that have got kids and you think, I can't go to the event, I work from home, or I work online, or, you know, I work in a shop or whatever, and I've got my kids at that time. If you've got toddlers or it's on the weekend, you can bring your kids along. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing for me, because I was actually nursing my child at the time, my third child, when I was looking at networking events, and I was told I couldn't bring a nursing child with me. You know, really, really felt really, really discriminated against there. I'm sure that's not legal, but, you know, it's their rules. So that's the way it is. And when I found kind of child-friendly networking events, it was really, really big turning point for me, because I was meeting people that I'd never met before. And I learned so much about business, about running a business, about marketing. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for meeting those kind of people in those networking events. So they are absolutely amazing. So you can find networking events if you don't want to attend ones online. I mean, sorry, in person. But I would definitely try and get in person. I would have a look online. You can go on Eventbrite and, for example, or go into Facebook events and just go and search networking events, and you'll maybe search your niche. So again, like if you are a window cleaner or you are a local business, you can just search networking events, local business, networking events, Wolverhampton, networking events, Black Country, Dudley, wherever you want to look. And I guarantee you there'll be some stuff come up. LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn has a lot of these networking events. Again, it depends. You sometimes have to kind of find the ones that you kind of find your tribe in. If there isn't one, do you know what you could do? As if you're a local business, start a networking event up. Walk into some local shops. Go down Dudley Road, walk into all the shops, or go into wherever you want to go, and just say, guys, I'm having a networking event. I'm just going to meet up. You don't even have to charge for it. It's up to you. Let's meet in a coffee shop somewhere, a local coffee shop. I'm always going to say support local. And let's just meet up. Let's just, let's get together. Let's meet each other. Let's find out about what each other can do, how we can help each other on our business. And that's absolutely will be, honestly, I actually might even go and do that. It will be transformational for you. Honestly, it is really, really good. And like I said, what you do now will impact your business in 6 months' time. So all these little business activities that you're doing and all of these kind of events and creating conversations and talking to people will really help you. So we've covered kind of 2 things. I just want to say as well, before I move on to the next part, networking can be very, very daunting for a lot of people. When we start our businesses online or in person, a lot of old kind of subconscious feelings can come up. Now, I know you may have heard some things online about mindset and all this kind of thing and imposter syndrome, and there's loads of this stuff flying around on Instagram, but it really can be an issue for some people. If you're a sister at home and you've started your own business and you kind of feel like, oh, I'm not professional enough, or who's going to want to speak to me, trust me, everybody else feels like that as well. So if you're feeling like it, you can imagine everybody else is feeling like it. So if you're going to be going into a networking event, or you're going to be thinking about direct messaging a customer a potential customer, or somebody that's giving you a quote or asked for a price or something from you, and you're a bit like, you feel a bit strange, I would definitely explore that further. Because a lot of the time we put ourselves down. And if you imagine that you're feeling like it, when you're going to a networking event or you're direct messaging someone, or you're actually just telling people about your business, they're feeling exactly the same as you. So you're both stood there thinking the other one's judging each other, but you're not. You're probably both feeling the same. And once that ice is broken, you're going to feel much better. And you're going to be like, oh, this is amazing. I've met these amazing people. It's been really, really impactful for me. So, yeah. So we've covered 2 things. We've covered networking and we've covered direct messaging, just getting out there and talking to people. The other one I want to talk to you about is social media. So a lot of us are not using social media in the most effective way. We will set up an Instagram page, we will set up a Facebook page, and we will post, and we might not get the traction we want, and then we might just leave it and put it down. Now, this is a whole other subject that I could speak to you for hours on, and I don't really want to give you guys a social media masterclass. But what I do want to do, where I touched on earlier around the online networking, is going on and creating conversations and creating genuine connections with people online is one of the most pragmatic and impactful ways to grow your business. Now, I'm talking from personal experience here. I came into business around 2018. Now, I hadn't really run my own business before. I had tried a little bit of network marketing. I was doing some freelance beauty therapy and I was a makeup artist. I had 10 years experience in corporate. I was in telecoms. I've done supplier management, project management. I have managed multi-million-pound contracts, and I became a mum, and I kind of lost a massive amount of my confidence. So I was trying a few businesses from home because it was quite apparent that I couldn't go back to my full-time job around childcare and things like that. And when I first came into my business in 2018, coming on the online world was really, really massive for me, because it was like it opened a door that traditionally wasn't always there. So like I said before, you'd have to go in person, you'd be knocking on doors, like, you know, the door-to-door salesman kind of thing. You would be having to go to a lot of in-person events as well. Whereas the online world just really, really opened things up for me personally, because of where I was at. I was at home with a couple of young children and I wasn't always able to get out and about, you know? So coming online, and I started to meet people. And the way I met people was people adding me on Facebook, people adding me on LinkedIn, people following me on Instagram, and me following people that at first I followed people that I thought I wanted to follow because I kind of looked up to them as coaches. But then I kind of learned later on down the line, I had to start friending people that were my ideal clients. But I just want to say, but here, when you're doing this online, you need to do it with a really good intention. You need to say, Bismillah, I'm just doing this to create connections for my business. I'm not here to just sell, even though that's what we want to do ultimately. You just want to come online and just create connections. Go on with the intention that you're going to serve, you're going to give value, you're going to help people, you're going to be that helpful person that everybody remembers online. Yeah. So if you are, for example, selling, I don't know, torches online, okay, you could join a camping group, you could join a rambling group, you could join a, you know, a night worker group who works, what kind of people use torches and what they're going to be using them for. So if I sold torches and I joined a camping group, and anytime somebody kind of commented, oh, what's the best torch for going to the toilet while I'm on the campsite, for example, really funny analogy, sorry, but it just came into my head. I would be like, oh, you could use this head torch, or you could use this hand torch, and this torch doubles up as a something else, you know, that kind of thing. And people remember that. And that's you just going out online. This isn't link dropping, by the way. Everybody hates people that drop links. So if you've started your business and you're in Facebook groups and you're constantly dropping the links. Now, I know us guys, alhamdulillah, may Allah reward these people, and may the people that are selling like Quran classes, but you've probably seen it. If you post something, there's going to be so many different spam links, and may Allah bless reward their business. May Allah bless them with massive amount of abundance. But it's really, really annoying when you're getting constant messages and you're getting I get them all the time. Being a revert, people see me and think automatically she wants Quran classes. So if you just think about that and think how you feel when you've been spammed, that's how people feel when you do it. Yeah. So what I want you to do is just go on and just network, just get to people. Hey, this is me. Introduce yourself on your Facebook profile. Do not sell on your profile. Do not put any links. Do not put any prices. And just introduce yourself. Now, I'm not saying to you to go and spend all your time online in groups. And some people might say this is a very old way of kind of networking to get clients, but I'm not telling you guys to do this just for trying to sell. Like I said, the things that you do now these small little business activities. You can just take half an hour in the evening instead of going down the scroll hole on your phone. Every single person who's probably listening to this at some point does a bit of what we call the scroll hole. You go online, you get in Facebook. It's kind of an escapism, but when you're growing your business, you can use that time wisely and effectively by going on, having conversations to create connections for your business, to create conversations for your business. Now, I hope you guys have got some benefit from today. I hope you've understood everything, and I hope I've got my point across that it's just about getting out there, being yourself, because you are the expert at what you do. You are the person that can solve your ideal client's problem. Okay, so rather than thinking about having the business, think about solving the problem. You are solving somebody's problem, and you are an absolutely amazing and determined business owner. And I know that you guys can do this, and just doing these little things, seeing them as business activities, seeing them as activities to grow your business, rather than something, oh, I have to go out and do this networking event, or I need to speak to this people, I need to speak to that person. Just do it naturally, but definitely start talking about your business in different areas and think outside the box. Don't be pushy, don't be salesy, don't spam people. Just be honest. Just say, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I've got to share with the world. And you'll be surprised that when your energy is that way and your intent is that way, Allah will reward you better than it's if you're constantly stressed and salesy and pushing and just wanting to just sell. So if you're giving and you're just being yourself, inshallah, you'll be able to grow your businesses. May Allah bless everyone that's listening. May Allah bless you all with abundance and success and rewards in your business and your life, in this life and the next life. Ameen. Thank you so much for watching. Please do let me know in the comments if you got any feedback. Go and find me on social media, Sarah Amir Saleh on Facebook, Saleh Consulting on Instagram, and Sarah Saleh on LinkedIn. I would love to connect with more and more of you and start having some conversations about your business. I would love to know more about you. So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for joining us today. I've got a real treat for you guys, everyone who's listening across the West Midlands. Today I've invited a friend, coach, client. A lot of you have probably heard of her. It's Sister Naima B. Robert. Welcome, Sister Naima.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So good to be here. Thanks for having me, Sara.
Thank you so much for coming on. So I really wanted to invite you on because I think a lot of the work that you do is absolutely amazing, especially around the storytelling. And, I love the journey that you've got as an author. I think the first time I heard of you when I was coming onto my journey to Islam was actually through your book, From My Sister's Lips. And I know that it's probably impacted hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people that you probably haven't even realized, because I know the book that I had was shared between 4 or 5 people. And this was the day before Amazon publishing and things like that. I'm talking 15 years ago when it came out and things like that. So yeah, alhamdulillah, the power of story writing is absolutely amazing. But, why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So it's a pleasure, mashallah. Thank you so much for your kind words about the book. May Allah accept From My Sister's Lips as an act of worship, for myself and for my late husband and all the sisters that took part, subhanAllah. It really was a labor of love. So my name is Naima B. Robert, and I'm an award-winning author of almost 30 books now for children, teens, and adults. And I was editor and founder of Sisters Magazine, and we ran that for 10 years, alhamdulillah. And now I not only carry on with my own writing, but I also help other Muslimah writers on their journey, specifically with a focus on getting more of our sisters to publish. So I have set our team a really big goal this year to help to create and support 222 Muslimah authors by the end of the year. So we're really excited because, you know, what we believe is that every single one of us has a story to tell. And, you know, it is understanding and recognizing that there is value in your story, that there is power in your story, and that there are people out there who need to hear your story. That is almost like step one, just owning your story and realizing that it has value, and that inshallah 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people could actually benefit from your story, and that it could actually be a source of sadaqah jariyah for you. That was the lesson from my sister's lips, subhanallah. So that's why I do the work that I do today.
Alhamdulillah. So how did you get into writing? How did you first kind of get into writing, or know you wanted to be a writer?
You know, it's so funny. I always liked writing at primary school and especially high school. But in my head, being a writer was being poor. So I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be a writer as my job. Like, that's not going to happen. So I used to really enjoy creative writing at high school, but I never took it seriously, and I never pursued it. And it certainly wasn't in my mind to actually become a writer when I was older, because I wanted money, you know, as I don't know whether I'm alone in that, but when I was a teenager, I was like, no, I want the life. So it was only when I was finishing up uni, got married, I had my first child, and was, you know, my child was already, you know, I think 6 months old by the time I started thinking about writing again. And that was because we used to go to the library so often and take out 50 books at a time. We loved it. But I noticed how few books there were about or by Muslims, especially at that time. We're talking 22 years ago. And that's actually what got me thinking, how can I impact this situation? How can I be the change that I want to see, right? And that is what I started writing. It was children's books. And I just wrote lots of silly stories first. And so for those of you who are starting your writing journey right now, I just want to say the silly stories are okay. The poor writing is okay. You know, the blogs that don't quite hit the mark, it's all okay. We all start pretty much in a space where we're trying to find our voice and trying to find our style and also trying to find our niche, you know. And alhamdulillah, it was, you know, by the mercy of Allah that, you know, my late husband kind of, you know, after I had been writing for some months, he was like, so what are you going to do with these? Are you going to actually get them published? And I was heeing and hawing, and I was like, and he said, no, let's get them printed and send them off. So he took me to his office. We printed the stories off, and I sent them off the next day. And alhamdulillah, one of the publishers, Mantra Lingua, got back to me about my little story about a little girl playing with her mom's hijab. And they said, we think this is a really important story. We want to publish it. And that was the beginning. That's how I got into writing, really, through children's books.
Wow, that's just what I've never heard that story before. So alhamdulillah, it's absolutely amazing story. I mean, it just shows you that everybody's got, I believe that everyone has a book in them, whether it's about yourself or whether it's the stories that we've told, or whether it's stories that we have culturally been told to us that we've never written down, or a story of somebody that we know, or, you know, someone in our family that we believe that the story should be told. I mean, I've got stories about my ancestors. I come from a long line of Scottish and Irish immigrants, and when I've been researching my family tree with my children, I have had so many stories, and I'm one of those people that imagines this, you know, my granddad's brother that went to America can imagine all these stories that he's done. And even that, I've thought in my head, wow, that could be a story, which is not necessarily a Muslim theme, but it's something that I can do, because I believe that everyone has got a book in them. So I mean, I've got all these ideas that I made, what story I could write, because I've been really inspired by yourself about saying, you know, write a story. And I don't know if I'm ready to write my own story yet, but I think I'm definitely ready to write something creative. Also, I think a lot of people are very creative in the sense of poetry, but we don't always have the confidence to write the poetry down. Have you got any tips for people in regards to, where they could start or how they could start writing, or if they kind of thinking they've got something on their mind and they want to get the story down? And guys, this doesn't necessarily mean about writing a story to publish. This is just the first steps. I don't know if you'd agree with that, about getting that down.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you're 100% right, about everybody having a book in them. I believe that too. And, just before I answer your question, I'd like to also remind everyone that, within our communities, most of us within our communities, we are sitting on a treasure trove of untold stories. I'll tell you how I know this. In our program, we have memoir writers. Okay. Memoir is basically a book telling stories from your life. And so so the ladies are in the program and they are usually writing about a specific chapter in their lives or a specific experience that they went through. So one was walking through her experience with depression and how it impacted her marriage. Somebody else, one of our published clients, who wrote a memoir of her father and partition and, being an immigrant in the UK. So a variety of different things. But what we found was, when we went on Amazon, which is what we do, and you should do too if you're interested in finding out whether there have been any books published on your subject, right? This is a tip for everybody, a hot tip. So go on Amazon and put in the search terms that somebody would put in to find your book. So in our case, we put in Muslim memoir, Asian memoir, family story, Muslim, Asian family story, because the sisters in this case were Asian. Yeah. There's hardly anything there.
Wow.
There's hardly anything there. And, the few that you find are usually from the perspective of people who've kind of moved on from their Muslim roots, if that makes sense, if you know what I mean. Like, they are not in the Muslim community like that. They've kind of moved beyond it. They've moved on it and on from it. And now they're kind of writing in retrospect about their upbringing or things like this. And within our communities, our stories are not being told, and this is something that really pushed me to really open up what we do to more people, as you know, and I'm sure we're going to talk about, because those stories of your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your parents, when they first came, where they came from, what it was like when they were growing up here, every one of you inside your families, there are going to be some really, really valuable lessons and valuable stories that when your parents pass, those stories will die with them. I want to say that again because I'm so serious about this. If we do not capture our own histories, they will be lost to the sands of time. Now, someone might argue and say, well, we're not special people. We're just ordinary people. Who cares about our stories? And I'll tell you this, at the very least, the future generations of your family deserve to know where they came from.
Yeah, I agree. And I think maybe culturally, even for myself when I was growing up, writing, and it was reserved for the intellectuals. When I say intellectuals, I mean the privileged. Now, I come from a family of intellectuals. Even like I've said, I come from Irish Scottish roots. People, and I say that people already assume poverty, which it was, but my granddad, he was a socialist activist. My dad was as well. And they are very intellectual. They're just not necessarily traditionally educated. And I think a lot of people assume that these kind of things were reserved for them. And I think that was probably very prevalent in the Muslim communities that came and settled in the UK. But we are from, the generation where we are more empowered, and we have the intellectual and education, and is not so much a privilege to just the wealthy, those kind of people, because it's accessible to all of us now. I mean, even
exactly,
in schools,
and
the reading programs, the writing programs, you've even got things in the youth clubs that have got writing and reading programs and things like that at the moment. So it is definitely more accessible to us. And
also just to jump in there as well, to add that publishing itself has become democratized, because previously you had to be accepted by a publisher. And the reason that the publisher would accept your manuscript is that they believe that they can sell it. on a wide scale, on a mass scale.
Yes.
So certain stories, they know they'll sell really well. Other stories, the niche is too small, or they don't know anything about the niche.
Yeah.
So what we're doing now with, basically taking advantage of things like self-publishing, taking advantage of the fact that anyone can be an author. Now, I don't recommend anybody just go and write something and put it up on Amazon. Like, no, we want to do things properly. But we've seen this in our lifetimes that, people who are so-called nobodies can, if they have the right intention and they have the right support, can tell and can craft and tell a beautiful family story. And that family story ends up resonating with people far beyond the family. So Samina, who I mentioned earlier, she's an example of that. You wouldn't believe the different places she's been invited to just because of this memoir that she wrote about her father and his journey through partition and coming to the UK. You wouldn't believe how many people have been inspired by not only her father's story, but also her having researched and written and really gone through a lot of trial in order to preserve her father's story for her grandchildren who will never meet him.
That's amazing. What an amazing story. And I think, again, your book, My Sister's Lips, that was kind of a groundbreaking thing at the time. And it was like, have you read this book? Have you read this book? And there was nothing else out there like it. And it was like, you had to order it on this website. I remember going on there. It might have been Amazon at the time or something. I remember going on a website and ordering it and stuff like, or I've ordered a book through the website. And
so brave.
And I was like you said, I mean, things have come on. And I think I was going to come on to that point now about the publishing. It's no longer it's no longer not accessible to, just anyone who's not educated or not from the intellectual side, we say, or
not connected in that way.
In that way. And, this is something that everyone can do, and everybody can be empowered to share their story. And I think there's so many people in the community that can go out there and do this, but don't. What kind of, would you give any tips on where they would start? Where does someone start with something like this?
Yes. So to answer your previous question, and dovetailing nicely with this one, what do we always say to our students and our clients, those who are just starting out on their writing journey? Start writing. A daily writing habit where you're keeping a journal, or you're describing things that you saw during the day, or even just describing a dream, or just kind of exploring stories that you have in your head. Just working on your writing daily makes a huge difference. But the other thing that I also tell our clients, and is maybe counterintuitive, is read more and read better. A lot of people may have the idea they want to be a writer, and anybody can be a writer, but to be a good writer, you have to have the right software in your head, if that makes sense. So if you read widely, wisely, and well, that's what we say, every time you read something, you are packing, stuff into that library in your head, whether it's phrases, concepts, vocabulary, syntax, description, style, all of that stuff gets filed away in your brain, so that when you start to write now, you can actually download the things that you've been uploading in there with the reading, and you can download it, and it comes through in your writing. And it always will improve your writing. If you can raise the level of your reading, it will raise the level of your writing. And if you're practicing every day, especially if you have some kind of support group like our Muslim Writers group, where you can have feedback and you can read other people's things, it really helps you to develop the confidence that you need to continue and get better and, edit and, make changes and then try something new. It's a journey. It really, really is a journey, mashallah. But it starts with just writing, not dreaming. Dreaming is like, the pre-order, right? But, if you have been thinking of writing or dreaming of writing, just start. And while you are doing that daily 10 minutes a day, start reading better material, especially if you already know the genre that you want to write in. Read the best work in that genre. If you want to be a literary author, read literary fiction. If you want to be a fantastic travel writer, read amazing award-winning travel blogs, right? And travel books. If you want to write your own cookbook, research other cookbooks, see which ones are award winning and read and absorb how they've done it. Trust me, it will impact what you end up writing yourself in a very, very good way, inshallah.
Oh, you've come up with a really good point there. Before we summarize that, when somebody thinks about being a writer or writing a book, you automatically think of this big long manuscript and you can kind of write that kind of thing. But also, like you said, maybe we could start smaller with articles and blogs and poems. And I didn't really think of it like that, because I always thought, well, I'm going to have to write this big long book. It's going to take me 2 years. But
this was really the advice insightful. For people who are literally just starting out, right? If somebody is listening to this and they're like, I think I have a book in me, I'd like to explore that, then what we teach our clients is to firstly just get clarity, right? Get clarity on what your topic is and who it's for. A lot of people don't realize how important it is to really nail your ideal reader, because who you're speaking to in the book, and again, like you said, it could be a huge 60 to 100,000 word manuscript, or it could be a 10,000 word ebook, right? It's all the same process. But getting clear on your what, getting clear on your why, and getting clear on your who before you start like the how of writing it is super important, to get clarity and not end up writing something that doesn't really kind of resonate with anyone, because it's so general, it's so all over the place, you haven't really thought it through. I'm a big proponent of planning your book first, which is why, we're offering this challenge coming up to help people to get that clarity so that they can start off on the right foot. Yeah,
that sounds amazing. That's something that's, guys, whoever's listening now, we've had some absolutely amazing golden nuggets of information here today. Thank you so much, Naima, for coming on and sharing your gifts, your knowledge. And I'm really, if anyone is listening and they're thinking about writing a book, or they are got some questions, go and find Naima on social media, or come and find me and I will signpost you over to Naima. Naima has got a challenge coming up next month where you guys can come and explore your ideas. This one is for sisters, I believe. So if there are some brothers out there, I'm sure you can still email and Naima will point you in the right direction or help you. But thank you so much for coming on, Naima. You are on Instagram, you're on Facebook as well, aren't you?
Yep, everywhere. Naima B. Robert, everywhere, all of the
Naima
things.
B. Robert. If you just Google Naima B. Robert, all the information will come up. So you guys can go and find her. But thank you so much for coming on today, Naima. And I will speak to you later. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.